Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to today's Explainer. Today we're unpacking a really urgent narrative. A story I've been putting together about the extreme weather phenomena completely dominating headlines right now. We're looking closely at the rapidly shifting realities of our climate. Specifically, we're talking about cloudbursts and a terrifying new threat known as heat bursts. We're going to jump right into the science, the very real human impact, and most importantly, what we actually need to do to survive. I want you to just take a second and genuinely put yourself in this scenario. Imagine trying to go about your normal day in 50 degrees Celsius heat, right? That's 122 degrees Fahrenheit. And this isn't some dystopian hypothetical situation. This is the brutal summer reality for residents living in regions like South Punjab. It's a kind of heat so intense that even cars and home air conditioners simply give up. They just stop working. And the wind outside, it doesn't cool you down. It literally scorches your face like a blast from an open furnace. Now imagine living on that extreme edge every single day. And then suddenly nature decides to push back even harder. What does that even look like? How does a community survive when the baseline is already pushed to the absolute limit of human endurance?
Well, that terrifying baseline sets the stage for a completely new viral panic. You see, over the past couple of years, people in these regions have become intimately and tragically familiar with cloudbursts. Sudden, massive floods have swept away entire homes, drowned major roads, and claimed far too many lives. The trauma from those events is incredibly fresh, but now there's a new fear spreading like a wildfire across social media: the threat of heat bursts. It's an unseen, relatively unknown threat for the folks living there. And because they've already suffered through the devastating extremes of water, the sudden rumor of this extreme heat anomaly is causing a massive, very understandable wave of anxiety.
And this brilliantly illustrates the core of our problem today. We are dealing with two highly contrasting atmospheric extremes that are both rooted in atmospheric instability, but they manifest in totally opposite ways. On one side, we have the cloudburst, which is driven by excess moisture. It's an event where an immense amount of rain falls in mere minutes, completely overwhelming drainage systems, washing out mountain slopes, and turning water into a highly destructive force. On the flip side, we have the heat burst, driven by intense dryness and heat. And the crazy thing? It typically happens at night. Storm clouds break and descend, but the air is so incredibly dry that the rain evaporates midair before it ever reaches the earth. This evaporation creates a violently hot, dry wind that rapidly drops to the ground, turning the cool of the night into a sudden, suffocating blast of fire. So one is an extreme of water and the other is an extreme of heat.
Now, I want to pause for a second on a beautifully poignant quote from the source material. Cloudbursts are the sky's tears, and heat bursts are the Earth's sighs. It gives you goosebumps, doesn't it? From a storytelling and emotional perspective, this just perfectly captures the essence of these phenomena. In one, nature is weeping, and in the other, it's gasping in agony. This isn't just a standard weather report. It is nature showing deep, profound distress. It's a powerful metaphor used to teach us a fundamental lesson: survival lies in moderation. When the natural balance is pushed to the absolute extreme, when that moderation is lost, destruction is literally the only inevitable result.
So the crucial point is, what's actually causing this? Modern science tells us this isn't just some random atmospheric glitch. It is a crisis entirely of our own making. These deeply contrasting events, the sudden floods and the nighttime furnaces, they share the exact same root cause: a broken environmental balance. And this imbalance stems from a fundamental flaw in how we behave. We've started acting as the absolute owners of nature, rather than its custodians or protectors. We've stepped way out of our rightful bounds, and these severe weather events, they're basically nature's harsh way of forcing us back into line. It's not just a scientific crisis, it's really a moral one. Let's break down exactly how we shattered that balance. First off, relentless deforestation has just stripped away the trees that naturally regulate our climate. And what did we replace them with? Concrete mountains. Massive jungles of brick and cement built purely for our own convenience, completely ignoring the ecological cost. On top of that, we are carelessly wasting our most vital water resources, diverting natural rivers to serve only immediate short-term needs. And finally, we are constantly pumping toxic gas emissions into the atmosphere to celebrate our so-called progress. Every single one of these actions directly fuels the unpredictable, extreme weather patterns that are now threatening our daily survival. Given the grim reality of these broken systems, we urgently need to shift our focus to immediate survival. Because heat bursts happen so suddenly and are so highly unpredictable, complete prevention is nearly impossible. I mean, you might be fast asleep and suddenly the temperature spikes and a scorching wind just rips through your neighborhood. So what do you do when a sudden, suffocating heat burst strikes at night? Preparation. And knowing exactly how to react in that exact moment is absolutely key to minimizing the danger to yourself and your family.
If a heat burst strikes, you need to have a protocol ready to go. Step 1. If that hot, dry wind hits, move indoors or find a shaded area immediately. Get out of the open air right away. Step 2. Shut all your windows and doors. You absolutely must block out that scorching wind from entering your living space. Step 3 is all about aggressive internal hydration. You need to drink plenty of water, specifically mixed with lemon and salts to replenish your electrolytes. And here's the kicker. Do this even if you don't feel thirsty. That dry heat will dehydrate you incredibly fast. Finally, step 4. Cover your head to protect against the direct impact of the heat, and pay special attention to protecting the vulnerable in your home, children, the elderly, and anyone who's sick. Beyond those immediate physical steps, you have to secure your home environment. To maintain a cooler temperature inside, put up thick curtains or heavy cloths over the windows to block the intense heat radiating from outside. Now, you should definitely run fans or air coolers if you have them, but actually scratch that. There's a very specific warning you need to remember here. Never direct the air from a fan or cooler straight onto your body during these intense heat events. The hot air can actually make things worse. Let the machine cool the room's ambient air instead. Also, if anyone in your home experiences dizziness, breathing difficulties, or severe heat stress, do not wait, seek immediate medical help.
Let's move to and see how this builds into the bigger picture. Because surviving a heat burst, that's just managing a crisis. It doesn't cure the underlying disease. The long-term cure requires a massive structural shift in our collective mindset. We absolutely must return to being the custodians of nature, not the exploiters. We have to actively work to restore that lost environmental balance. Achieving harmony with nature is our only true form of long-term protection. Because if we don't fix the environment, the sky will just keep dropping water like bombs, and the air will keep descending like fire.
Being a custodian actually looks very practical. It's not just a nice idea. First and foremost, plant trees. Seriously, planting trees around your homes provides crucial natural cooling and stabilizes the local microclimate. Second, aggressively conserve water and energy in your daily life. We have to stop the waste. Third, we need to advocate for and actually participate in the restoration of natural riverways, letting water flow the way it was meant to. And fourth, actively work to reduce environmental pollution in your own community. These aren't just feel-good environmental slogans, these are the literal defense mechanisms required to stop the continuous, vicious cycle of cloudbursts and heat bursts.
Which brings us to an ultimate provocative choice. Are you going to remain a mere spectator to nature's wrath, just watching the weather reports and hoping for the best? Or will you take up the mantle of a custodian? This whole journey from cloudbursts to heat burst, it is a direct warning to humanity. But the power to change course, that's in our hands. It starts with simple local actions. Will you plant a tree today? Will you change how you consume water and energy? The choice is entirely ours, and as this whole narrative clearly shows, our survival depends entirely on the answer. Thank you so much for joining me to explore this vital topic. Stay safe, stay informed, and let's start restoring that balance.